Flosstube. Welcome to Stitching with the Waves. I am Jennifer. This is my Flosstube channel all about cross stitch and the other crafty stuff I've been working on. So it's Friday. It's been about a week since my last video and I wanted to give you an update because I had a lot of stitching time and it's a lot easier if I keep up with these videos and don't let it get so long in between. It's much easier for me to remember what I showed you last time and what I didn't. So here we go. Hopefully the kids are outside. They are making slime in the driveway. Let's hope that they stay entertained with that and we don't have 1,000 interruptions today. All right, so what have I been working on? I have an FFO I want to show you. As soon as I finished my video last week, I realized I hadn't shown it to you. I was like, oh, I completely forgot. So it's okay because it was only halfway FFO'd. I made a small pillow and all I had done was stitch the pillow. I hadn't put the edging on yet. So this week I managed to get the edging on. So you get to see it totally, completely finished. So this is ABC Clemence from the Bordeaux Parisiennes. It was a free pattern that they had on their website for a couple of weeks. It's unfortunately no longer available, but I had gotten it back then and I know a couple other people had managed to snag it. And I stitched it, it was charted in reds, but I switched it up to be all blues. And then I spent the past 2 weeks watching all of the pillow tutorials that Fauna, the Twisted Stitcher, has posted about how to make little pillows and how to trim them. And I figured out what I wanted to do for a trim, given the supplies that I actually have at my house. So I ended up doing her, I think it was called Tuck Pillow with ruched ribbons and bead trim or something like that. So you basically take ribbon and ruche it and then add some little beads as well. So it looked kind of complicated. I was a little nervous going into it, but it turned out fantastic. So I really want to throw out right here at the beginning of this video a huge thank you to Vanna and all of the wonderful tutorials that she puts out there. I never imagined that this would turn out so well for my first try at making a little pillow and doing the trim and all of that. So I am just thrilled with my first attempt. So here we go. Make sure I have it right side up. This is the little pillow. There we go. So it's got a cute little girl down here and her hoop where she's doing, it says Pointe X, which is cross stitch. She's got her thimbles and her needle and thread, all of her buttons and everything, scissors, and the whole alphabet. Love how that turned out. So for the trim, I did this little ruched beading. So you can see the little florets of beads every so often there. This is the bottom, so it's joined. So I think right in here is where the ends are, but really, it looks fantastic. You really can't tell. Can't tell at all. And it covered up, I had a tiny bit of puckering along the bottom edge there where I had, done the blind stitch to stitch the pillow shut, and it turned out fantastic. So one of Vanna always like, look how smooth. And I'm like, yep, did it, Vanna. Look at that. Pretty darn smooth for a first try. Fantastic. Love it. So it ended up nice and thin. I didn't want like a big puffy pillow and I wasn't sure how to do that. Her tutorial's fantastic. If you haven't ever watched any of them, go check out the Twisted Stitcher because the tutorials are just fabulous. So I'm super excited about this. I have a little bowl in one of my china cabinets and that's where I'm going to put this. And I am working on making more to go with it. So this I made entirely also from fabrics and ribbons and beads and things like that I just happen to have in the house because I am trying not to go to any of the stores right now. Okay, so that one's done. This is a piece I'm doing kind of a daily rotation. Well, no, it's not a daily rotation. I kind of picked out a few days a week to work on something other than my mania project so that I could still see some progress on some things. So Fridays are for Freebie Friday. Since it's Friday, I thought I'd start with that. Oh gosh, I forgot my blank piece of paper. Oh well, normally I have a thicker piece of cardstock that helps here. So this is from Jeanette Douglas. It is her Be Well Mini Bouquet, I think is what it's called. It's the freebie Be Well and Stitch pattern that she put out. I changed up all of the colors, so it would be blues. It was charted in Gast and what's Weeks Dye Works, and I think there was one Classic Color Works, which is the only, I have like 2 Weeks Dye Works, 3 Dinky Dyes, and a small collection of classic color works, and not a single one of those was called for in the pattern. So I had to completely come up with my own color conversion for this one, and I'm just thrilled with how it came out. So that's also going to be a little pillow at some point when I can get around to getting that done. This piece is in the way, so I'll move it over there until I show it to you. Okay, so today is Friday. I'd finished that piece last Friday. And then my next one that I picked out is, what does she call it? It's because it's just Be Well and Stitch. It's just a free heartstring samplery design by Beth Twist. And I am not going to do most of the words at the top and the bottom. And again, if you have watched any of my other videos, you probably realize that there is not enough blue in this pattern for my personal preferences. There's just a few little motifs here that are in like specialty stitches. So I will be changing this up. I already picked out my whole color conversion, and for fabric, I picked out this 40 count. This is Liberty Gathering Gray. So this is what I'm stitching Kringles on, and I had to buy a big giant piece of it to stitch Kringles, and there was some extra on there. So I kind of cut off the additional, so I'd have it to use for other projects. So I just cut off a little piece for this one. So that'll be my freebie stitch that I pick up today and work on. I'll work on that today and then every Friday in the future until I get it done. Then Saturdays, I kind of reserved for seasonal Saturday. So this is the July Cottage from Fleur de Lys. And it is roses in the month of July. So June. Don't know what month it is. June. Let's go back. This is roses. Can't you guys? I just can't today. This is roses in the month of June from Fleur de Lys. She has a French website store, like shop, that you can go on and purchase these as PDFs. And that's the name of the pattern down there. So it's a little cottage of the month. And I've changed up a few of the colors. In these little roses here, you can see there's little roses around the arch, and then there's little roses at the top on either side of the word June. And there are, I do believe, 7 colors of pink in that, which I had 5 of the 7. So I picked one that was kind of a lighter peachy pink. And then for the other one, I'm just kind of, for wherever it's called for, I'm just picking one of those other 5 colors that I have that would work well in that place, because I'm not, for the few number of stitches that you need for this pattern, I didn't want to, have to go do a pickup at the store to get the right DMC colors. So making do with what I have in my stash. This is a 40 count fabric. It looks like it's probably platinum. I think the color is platinum on this one. I think that's what I chose. So last time I just had the border done, or part of the border done, I think. So the arbor is done, working on the house, and then I'm starting to work. I thought I'd do like a strand of green for the grass, because the grass is the entire rest of this bottom portion down here. So I thought I'd fill in a strand of green and then work on some of the work on some of the house, and then go back and forth, because otherwise it's just kind of a lot of green to be doing all at once. So that's my seasonal piece. I'll work on that one on Saturdays until it's done, and when it's done, I'll switch to the summer sampler banner from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and at some point I will also, in June, I will squeeze in the July month. All right, Sunday is for like a Santa Sunday sort of thing. I'm doing Kringles. You probably don't even need to see this pattern. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere. Everybody's stitching this. So I am doing all of the structure of the building first. All the bricks, all the outlines of all the windows, the roof, all of that sort of stuff. And I decided to start my first like window thing that I do, first panel that I do will be the front door, because that's still kind of like the exterior of the house. So when I put it down last week, I had everything down to Kringles, and I had done a little bit of those black lines right below Kringles. So here I am now. I worked on this all day on Mother's Day, which is fantastic, because I just love this piece. It is just so enjoyable to stitch. So I got mainly most of the outline of one of those first story rooms done down there. So I'll finish that up this Sunday, and then I'm gonna move over and do the window on the other side, and then I'll start filling in the whole front door scene. and then we'll see where I go from there. Then I get to do all the fun part. I'll just have the other 8 windows to fill in. So I'm super excited to get to that. All right, mania. So you may have noticed I'm stitching. I am filming in the spot where I've been filming pretty recently. This is my art room, craft room, which is technically our formal dining room, but I've just taken it over for all my crafts and stuff. So I moved the giant picture that used to be here to another wall and hung up my printer's tray over the buffet. So my plan is, let me see if I can move you without too much jiggling. So there's some space above it up there to balance out. So my plan is to get a picture ledge, like a 2-foot long picture ledge that will go here, and then I'll be able to lean different projects up here against the wall on the picture ledge, and I'll be able to change that stuff out seasonally or just put up some projects. I do have some framed cross stitches that I have displayed like in other rooms and bedrooms and stuff that I might pull out and like kind of change that out seasonally as they go. And I'll also work on just stitching up other projects, and I'll be able to have a little spot up there to display those. Okay, back down here. All right, so this is actually printed out I kind of got a better plan with what I'm gonna do for my mania pieces. So hold on, I didn't talk about mania yet. I am so, you guys, oh man, it's been a long week of school. Tired, my brain is fried. Okay, so I was talking about the tray before I got distracted about what else I'm gonna hang on the wall. So this tray, it was super dirty, super filthy. It obviously had been stored someplace not clean, it's just, it was covered in dirt. So I cleaned all that off, used the Murphy's oil soap, washed it, and then it also just had, I think, what was probably a lot of like powdered ink residue. So it would have originally been a drawer. You can see up here in the top, there's a handle, and it originally would have been a drawer in a cabinet. And each of these little individual compartments would have held the little tiny wood blocks that had letters on them that typesetters used to lay out, to print up newspapers, magazines, books, all that sort of thing. They had to individually set out each piece of type, each letter, and then put it through the letterpress. So it's a letterpress tray, printer's tray, that sort of thing. And it just would have slid right into a cabinet, pull it out, take out the letters that they need. And so those letters would have had obviously ink residue on them. And I think over time, it's like dried powdery ink residue. So I cleaned all of that out, but I still just felt like it just had a little bit, it was raw wood, it had never been finished. And so I just really felt like there was a good chance that putting fabric in there, my plan is to just stitch, like for one square, stitch a small piece, finish it on a piece of sticky board and put it in there. Similar to what I did for this house over here, where each little compartment is filled with a little different stitched piece. I just felt like with this big printer's tray, I wanted to put a clear coat of sealant over it to make sure that none of that dirt was transferred onto the fabric. So you can imagine, that took a little while for all 50 something compartments, but I got that done this week. I got some hardware mounted on the back of it. I just hung that up right before the video, so let's hope it doesn't come crashing down while we're doing this. I think it's a pretty heavy drawer because it's solid wood. I think I got heavy enough anchors on there that it should hold, but you never know. So that's all set and ready to go. When I first started in May, I knew I had picked out an alphabet, and then I also kind of had this one favorite pattern book from Antique Pattern Library. If you've never been on Antique Pattern Library, you should definitely go. I think I say this every video. It is a total rabbit hole. They have tons and tons of free patterns on there that are from before, like pre-copyright law at this point. The copyright has expired on them, and they're all available on there. They're from all different countries, all over the world. Really, really cool antique patterns. And so I have a favorite book that I always kind of, just every time I look at it, I love it. So I knew I wanted to stitch some of the patterns from that, and I started doing that. And then as I was picking patterns for more compartments, I decided, actually, I just want to print out this whole book and stitch as many of them as I can and put it in here. If I need more patterns after that, I don't think there'll be quite enough patterns in this book to fill the whole tray, but if I need more, I have plenty of other pattern books from Antique Pattern Library that I could use to fill it as well. So this is the book. That's what the front cover looked like. Which way does it go? Yeah. this way. So it says down here, Sajou, which is a very famous French embroidery company. And the name of the book is Dessins de Broderies, Embroidery Designs. And that's what an old-fashioned antique pattern book used to look like. So here we go. Can you see through this? No, it's okay. All right, so I started off stitching some of the letters of the alphabet. Now these are not in Dessins de Broderie. These are a different Sajou alphabet that came out of a different Sajou pattern book. So helps if I look from this side so I can see better. So I started with the letter A, then I did B, then I did C, then I did this one. I showed you that one last week, I think. And then I did the teapot with the sugar, and I'm pretty sure when I last showed you this, the sugar pot needed just like 2 more lines of stitching and then it was done. So I finished that one off last week. So I stitch on this like Monday through Thursday. So I started off with a couple more letters. I did D, and then I did E, and then I did this one. Let me turn it this way. And I did this one. So this one is special because the thread that I used is from a gift from my friend Erin. She is Erin perpetual.projects on YouTube and at perpetual.projects on Instagram. She has a floss, so go watch her Flosstube. Her Flosstube channel is great. She has a lot of really cool things and does a lot of really cool like finishing ideas and stuff. So check her out. She had sent me a gift a while ago, and this is Weeks Dye Works Sky. So I thought that was really pretty and would go well because I had this cottage garden thread down here that I used for that one that was kind of dark and medium tones. And then this one like really picks up that medium tone of blue. So love that one. And then I started on this one this week, which will go in one of the big, more rectangular areas. So it's in progress. I almost have all of these lighter blue diamonds filled in, and then each of these little sections here has a little motif to go in. So I've still got to fill in all of those. I haven't started them yet. And I'm going to use like a medium colored blue for that. And then I've got room on the fabric that I marked off. You can see my like little corners of where to cut for all of these. I've got room on the fabric here for one more piece that's this size. So I will do that. And let's see. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 alphabets, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I've done 3 of these like tall, skinny ones. The alphabet will go in these tiny little squares. And then I'm working on one of these larger rectangles. And I'm going to do one more will fit on this fabric. And then once I'm done that one, hopefully next week, I'll be able to go ahead and cut all this fabric apart. And I will have, I think that makes 10 done. So that'll be halfway to my goal. My goal has become to stitch 20 of these for 2020 during the month of May. So hopefully I can finish that next week on the 4 days I'm working on this. And then my plan after that is to stitch more letters of the alphabet because I mostly have letters of the alphabet. That's like more than half of the compartments are these little tiny squares, I believe. So I'm going to work on getting more alphabet letters done to get me up to the 20. And then some of these other compartments I'm going to fill in with just printed fabric covering a piece of mat board with like a piece of solid blue fabric, and then I have some white lace and other trims that I could stretch across there and put in. I've got some wooden spools that are these like itty bitty little tiny wooden spools. I thought I'd wrap them with like some blue thread and stack them in one of the compartments, stuff like that. There's 2 compartments that are broken. So one is here, and you can kind of see this dividing line right here. So that's where there used to be a little wood divider, but it's not there anymore. So this is actually a large compartment. And then this is a large compartment here. And I think eventually I will stitch a piece to go in those 2, but I don't think I have time to stitch a bigger piece during the month of May. So my plan is to just kind of leave those 2 empty for now and work on filling everything else. And then I'll go back. I'm thinking, depending on how many I have left to go, how many boxes I have left I need to fill, I might try and fill like one or 2 a month, so that I get it finished by the end of year or this time next year or something like that. I just need to see how many I'm gonna have left that still need to be filled after I get all my stitching done and stuff like that. So that is my current goal, and that is my mania stitching. The other thing I got done for stitching this week was I finished worked on finishing this little house. So it was in kind of rough shape. It had a lot of nicks and dings on, especially like this area here that sticks out and on the corners. It's not a very high quality wood. I don't know if you can tell. I couldn't really paint it. Yeah, you can kind of tell there. The grain is very, very deep. So it's really not like a paint quality. If I tried to paint it, I just don't feel like it would end up looking smooth. It would look just kind of rough. You can see here, this compartment is more of like a trapezoid situation, not really square. It's not like a totally square thing. So I wanted to leave it kind of rustic. So I figured, and then it has this on the roof, it has like the scallop shingle look to it, and I didn't really want to lose that either. So I had this product from Minwax. It's called Poly Shades. It's a stain and sealer in one, and I used it on this really ugly oak, super cheap vanity that is in our basement bathroom, to change it to like this dark honey color, and it turned out super well. Really fantastic. I was very impressed with it because that vanity's not wood. It's like, you know, particle board stuff. Like I can't sand and stain it because it's not gonna, like the sides that are like printed paper with wood grain on it are not gonna finish the same way. So I used that and it turned out fantastic because this product just sits on top and seals the surface. So I thought that might work out well because it would let this still show through. And just trying to like refinish something like this where you're trying to like strip inside all these little compartments. Like this is not something I wanted to spend that much time on. So I used this Poly Shades product, which is stain and sealer in one. I just did one coat and I think it turned out fantastic. You can kind of see it has nice satin sheen, and it really, you cannot tell, this is all nice and smooth now, even color. You cannot see all the little chips out of it or anything. So it really helped clean this piece up. So I highly recommend it if you have an old piece that you want to try and fix up a little bit. That's my like home improvement tip of the week, I guess. So this piece was $4 at a thrift shop. I have seen similar things on eBay at times. That's a good place to search for them if you're looking for one. And Amazon does have, if you search for like compartment tray, they do have, they're not house shaped, but they end up just, you know, like trays, like rectangular trays with a bunch of little compartments if you're looking for something. And I've seen some on there that are like $20. So not super cheap, not $4 from the thrift shop, but also, you know, kind of a reasonable cost. So this is going to get all of the little pieces that I stitched and become kind of a Christmas themed house. So I think I stitched 9 pieces last year, in the second half of the year. I started them in Jolly July and then finished them up as we headed toward Christmas. But I just realized as we got so close, I think I finished stitching 2 weeks before Christmas, and it's just too busy of a time of year to be trying to refinish this and figure out what to do about it and doing all the little fiddly finishing to get the compartments filled. So I've got that done, and this is ready to have the little pieces inserted. So I've got a lot of little compartment things to fill here in the next few weeks. But I think that is kind of it for stitching and what I did that was related to stitching. I did get some haul. This is the Vanilla Cream Floss Fix set from Fat Quarter Shop. You get 6 Classic Colorworks flosses. So these are all like white, vanilla-y, creamy colors. Some of them, like the khaki one, khaki mocha, has a lot of variegation. It's probably not going to show up on the screen very well because these are, you know, the color, just like trying to show whites on a screen. But got my little collection of white and cream colors now. So adding to that, I think there are 2 months left. So there should be June and July left in the Floss Fix Club, because it started last year in August. And then I'm hoping that she continues. I'm hoping she keeps going, but I haven't heard her mention anything about it yet, so we'll see. All right, plans are just to keep doing what I've been doing. Today's gonna be Freebie Friday, so I'll work on that Heartstrings Sampleries freebie. Tomorrow is Seasonal Sunday. I'm hoping I can finish the June cottage. Fingers crossed. That might be a little bit ambitious, because there's still quite a lot of grass to stitch on that. And then just everything else that's left, there's a little bit of the house, and then everything that's left is just a few stitches. So it's a ton of color changes, and color changes just take time. Then Kringles. I get to work on Kringles on Sunday. Yay. I just always look forward to that so much. I love that piece. It's just so fun to stitch on. Love it. So that'll be Sunday. And then next week, Monday to Thursday, I will work on my mania piece, filling up this. I'm hoping to get that one larger rectangle finished and then do a second one so I can fill up that fabric and then get started on filling the compartments. So that'll bring us back to next Friday when I'm hoping that I can do another video. Fridays, our school days are kind of shorter. The kids tend to not have as long of assignments on Fridays, and they're just in a happier mood when school is done because it's finished and it's time for the weekend. As long as the weather stays nice too, I can kind of band them outside for a little bit and have a few quiet minutes to take a video. So that is our plans pretty much. Our area of Virginia did start to open, or sorry, Virginia started to open up today, but our area is not. We have too many cases still going on, so we are still on a stay-at-home order until at least May 28th, and then they'll reassess 2 weeks from now and see where we're at, see if our numbers have started to improve yet, and maybe we can move to phase 1, maybe not. So we are all just still staying at home, just same old of what our lives have become, right? So I hope you all are doing really well, and I hope you're getting some solace from your stitching and enjoying the stitching time that you get. I'll see you back here again soon. You can, my kids are sitting over there listening, so like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram at Stitching with the Waves. And oh yeah, you have to hit that little bell next to the subscribe button until it turns dark gray if you want to get notifications when I post a new video so that you know. All right, I think that's everything now. Happy stitching, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.